9:15. Looks like about 39 degrees. Air is coming in from the northeast. You know what that means. Yeah, it's cold outside. For the inside, with the last of the indoor budding forsythia is going to bud outdoor next, despite the weather we have today. And tomorrow, it's not going to be that much different here either. And do you mind if T-Rex goes first? He only does this at this door, out the Weymouth door. T-Rex puts on the same show every morning. Yeah, someone said he was a Rhodesian Ridgeback the other day. Right, there he is. There's that Rhodesian. Thanks for that comment around the rose, Rhodesian in the rose. And Steve is out, and it's cold. I'm not wearing my gloves because it's easier to do camera work without gloves on, so my fingers are probably going to freeze a little bit. A gray sky, the color of the water, a reflection of the color of the sky, gray, and 39.5 degrees this morning. It is the day we've been waiting for, that battle of the air masses, with the air in New York City coming from near the equator and the air in Burlington, Vermont coming from near the North Pole. It's a clash of the titans. And in one corner, we have a 1029 high-pressure system over James Bay, Canada, where the temperature this morning started off 15 to 20 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And in the other corner, it's pretty much a lightweight 1024 Bermuda high-pressure system, because warm high-pressure systems are much weaker than cold high-pressure systems. Cold air is heavy and it's dense, and it undermines the lighter, warmer high pressure to the south. And you get a boundary, and along that boundary, that's where the action is, or just north of the boundary. It's a fairly fast, flat flow aloft. And when that happens, usually you don't get big storms. So this is really a surface-driven thermal gradient causing the problems this morning. Problems if you don't like wintry weather. Not a problem if you like to go skiing. The temperature on Mount Washington this morning, just below 20, but then the summit, just below the summit there is about 24. And look at the wind is from the southwest. And then it's isothermal from the top down there. So the wind on top of Mount Washington is from the southwest. And the wind down in the lower elevations is from the north. In much of New England, northeast here near the coast, Burlington, Vermont this morning was 30. Anson Tebbets was up before the sun and measured 3 inches of snow in Burlington, Vermont before sunrise while it was still snowing hard. And so it's not just like an orographic effect. Pause for two cardinals. Two cardinals and a pussy willow. And they move to the birch, to the maple. Sorry, so much on my mind. This is all one take Tim, play by play. Looking into the wind there from the northeast at low levels of the atmosphere. I was just talking about how it's southwest aloft. There's Boston and reduced visibility and some fog and drizzle. Fog and drizzle is usually what you get in this kind of a boundary without a strong storm. The front stretches out now from about a 10,008 millibar low near New York City first thing this morning. About 1,008 low near Chicago. South of that low today, temperatures are going to be in the 70s to near 80. North of that line, temperatures are going to be in the 20s and 30s. And elements of precipitation are moving along. The first batch of snow delivered. Here, Carl made us this video looking towards Stowe, towards Mount Mansfield in Stowe. He said there was about 7.5 inches of snow first thing this morning, and it's a dense snow. And so far, no reports of any freezing rain in New England. We interrupt this out-the-door weather and more already in progress for a play-by-play update here, just past 9:45. We just came in. Carl Weller says at Stowe it's dense, but it's not too sticky, but it's running out quickly. And Ryan is at Okemo, and he just reported it is freezing rain at elevation. So that's what we're dealing with, freezing rain at elevation. He says the upper mountain is unskiable, so freezing rain is happening. All right, back to our regularly scheduled out-the-door weather and more. So we've dodged a bullet in that respect so far. A long way to go here. Over the weekend, there are more batches of precipitation coming at us, but they're going to be more wet than white, so freezing rain still may be an issue. It's a situation where you might have, down on the Route 100, the temperature may be 35, so it's not freezing, but then you get up in elevation, there could be a couple of layers where the air is still around 32 or lower, and the accumulation of ice is probably going to be mostly on branches and perhaps power lines. And without much wind, that's kind of a good news. That's usually the case in a freezing rainstorm. T-Rex, what are you doing? So let's look at did I show you the snowfall map? Yeah, 8 inches of snow. Very narrow band of snow last night. Incredibly narrow. Usually you get a setup like that, it's a very localized effect. But this one was a synoptic scale. That means everybody in that band from about Lake Huron right down to Wildcat picked up close to 8 inches of snow. There was a view at Wildcat this morning. It's day 8 in a row of New England snow and skiing. Dense powder, I guess is what we're going to call it. Let's go to the NAM. It's initialized at 2 a.m. So there's that first burst of snow, the blue easing out, and the front is still stalled here. And then new elements of precipitation are going to come in, especially late today, tonight. I think we're still drizzling and snowing lightly, but it's not a really intense precipitation maker. So travel is not as bad today as I expected. And snowfall amounts are not as much either. And then tonight, you get some more freezing rain. That's the red coming in. And some more snow redeveloping late tonight in far northern New England. And then that band of snow tomorrow morning at about 10 a.m. moves up into Maine. And we have some red showing up there in the spine of the Green Mountains, so some freezing rain is still possible. And then it's tomorrow night that the warm front pushes all the way north of Maine. And now we're getting just plain rain off and on late tomorrow night. Still a little red in there. And Monday, this goes out to Monday at 2 p.m. And looks like showers around here. And there's going to be a batch of thunderstorms forming. It's just there on the west side of the map. That's going to come in late on Monday. So that's all going to be rain. Temperature's going to be in the 50s and 60s by then in New England. 50s and 60s, but it's not going to last that long. So as for snowfall amounts, I think what you see out your door now is about it. And then as for freezing rain, we're going to run this FRAM, freezing rain model once again. Show the red. My microphone doing all right? The red is where you get freezing rain. And then it turns blue. And the blue is supposedly a little more than an inch of ice accumulation. So I think that's on the high side. I think this NAM is overdoing the freezing rain. And I think the ground is warm enough that the ground will be not treacherous, but it could accumulate on the trees, and still expecting power outages in New York and Vermont and parts of New Hampshire with this freezing rain aspect of it. Such a narrow band. Rewind a little bit. This morning, we had a new moon. It's the new pink moon, full on April 12th. And it was clear in northern Maine, and James Cinco got eclipse. We had another eclipse of the moon last night. Who knew that? And James says, oh, I forgot about it until I looked up and saw it. Meteorologist there at Caribou. Thank you, James. And the satellite image kind of shows how narrow this is. Look at this satellite image. The sunshine in northern Maine. Sun's out near New York City. And the rain, or radar, shows the rain and the ice and the snow. Also, a narrow band from northern Michigan right to Portland, Maine, where Portland, Maine also got 3 inches of snow. And I'm going to show you it's called 2 meter AGL, above ground level temperature, in Fahrenheit. A lot of these things are usually in Celsius. This is in Fahrenheit. And the blue is freezing, 32 degrees, and the rust is 75 degrees. Talk about heavy, cold, high pressure. Watch this backdoor front pushing that warm air south through New York City, then west to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That's only the very lowest levels of the atmosphere. That's that cold high going by to our north, undermining the warmth. And whenever you get rising air, which would be that warm rising over the top of the cold, that's your precipitation, more precipitation coming in tonight and tomorrow. Fascinating. Look at the animals are behaving like birds. They're pointed into the wind. Watch out, Steve. Nice to have Steve back. Mitt's in the house somewhere. He's a smart one. My hands are freezing already. And we're at 9 minutes in. Let's just run the Euro model. The Euro obviously won in this whole battle, even though it's going back and forth for next week. Here's the Euro model. Big picture pattern. The low pressure system that's the strongest of this is in Texas this morning, and that's going to drive up into Ontario, Canada tomorrow night, and that's the snow changing to rain all the way to northern Maine with showers off and on. The least amount of precipitation is going to be southeastern New England and far northern Maine. Excuse me. Then a cold front's going to come through here with a wave developing on the front. That's going to keep the rain. Actually, that's going to enhance the rain there in southeastern New England. So Cape Cod may make up for it in the rain department Monday night and Tuesday morning. Now, that's another big, cold, strong, high-pressure system. And you see the blue lines coming in and the black lines, isobars and cold air advection. It's windy and cold with a refreeze up in the mountains. It's going to be fast skiing at that point, but the sunshine should soften the snow. And then that high comes right over for our mostly weekly lack of wind Wednesday, a very cold start, and then that high moves off and the wind increases from the south. You get warm air advection Wednesday night and Thursday. Here comes the first of the parade of April storms into the northeast on April, let's see, Fools is Tuesday, 3rd is Thursday, and it's a mixture, a wintry mix, changing to rain for the most part. Looks like more wet than white, but this is going back and forth. And then the front does settle south of us next Friday, but there's not much action and not much cold. It'll be chilly, a little bit like today where it's raining and cold again on Friday into Saturday. What that is a wintry mix. That's snow and rain and freezing rain across New England on Saturday into Saturday night and Sunday. It looks like ultimately that does turn warmer, but there's potential there for 2 wintry weather events there, Thursday, Friday, and then again Saturday. So they're coming one after another. And then Monday, we're getting out to day 10, and I find this a little difficult to believe. Look at those numbers. You see the blue lines. We're going to stop it at 240 hours, the time and date in the upper left, and we have Arctic air, April style, with the thickness going down to 510, 504, even a 498, midwinter type Arctic cold showing up near Hudson Bay, Canada. And if we scroll south, there's a new wave of low pressure on the Gulf Coast near Texas, where you see the 582 thickness. That is record warm, 100 degrees in Mexico. So it's going to be 20 below in Canada and 100 in Mexico on day 10 with another system headed toward the northeast. So I expect some April surprises. Weather has just been fascinating. This is the last of the parade of March systems, so I think this is like the fifth major March storm. This one not as deep as those other ones when we had the blizzards and the tornadoes. But that long range next week does show a couple of sub 90 millibar low pressure systems. All right, I guess that's enough. Should we run the coast to coast snow, even though I haven't looked at it? Everyone's always interested in this. I do not think that we are going to get to 100 inches at the snow stake. I think that we're going to get to about Mount Mansfield. We probably got to about 95 this morning. We might get to 96 or 97, then it's going to go the other way. So I think we have reached our pinnacle of snow depth on Mount Mansfield, and that would be that 102 we had to be open March. But nice recovery, though, in the last week. We went from 78 to 95, and whatever this shows here, purple is another 6 to 12. So there's still a lot of snow coast to coast. It's going to be week 25 in a row, coast to coast snow. All right, I guess that's the end of the weather part. T-Rex, what do you see? What do you smell? So there's grass seed here, but the grass seed hasn't budged. Next couple of weeks, we should get the grass seed to budge pretty good. Driving home yesterday. First, we went skiing, so I'm going to have some highlights from the skiing yesterday morning. Nice groomers. Disappointed that it didn't snow more yesterday morning. And fun to see everybody. So if it's not a powder day, it's definitely a social day. What are you sipping there, Yana, on the gondola? What did I miss? And let's look at Steve, looking so handsome over there. What was that, Rex? What'd you say? Yeah, what is it? What is it, Rex? And the clouds coming home yesterday. Lenticular clouds So beautiful. A lenticular cloud is formed by a wave of energy, air, going over a mountain. The air goes up and there's just enough moisture. It cools and condenses into a cloud. It looks like a flying saucer. I think it's lenticularis is Latin for lentil, or sometimes you call it the UFO cloud, because the cloud does not move. The cloud just sits there. The air goes through the cloud. Yeah, Rex, I know. It's a fascinating situation. I think you might want to Google lenticular cloud, the flying saucer cloud. They were layered up yesterday, and getting back home into Boston, traffic wasn't that bad, but the temperature was 62 here. So we're from snow skiing and icy winds to 62 as the sun went down here, and we'll leave you with a couple time lapses also. T-Rex, what is it? He's energized. All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the comments. Talk to you in 24 hours. Yeah, Rex. What is it? I thought we'd have a little coating of snow on the ground over here this morning. What happened, do you know?
Well, weather forecasting is sometimes unpredictable. That's just the way
That's
it
it?
is.
That's what you say in court a lot? Nothing like, we overestimated the strength of the front or the amount of moisture.
It's a forecast, not a absolute
Okay.
statement.
Yeah, but usually, well, those of us in the real world, we had to come up with kind of a reason that the thing didn't go right.
Oh, let me come up with that reason here in a second.
It's been, I think, exactly 3 weeks since that big meltdown when the stream was up to over the snow. And since then, we picked up another couple feet of snow. Snow stake has recovered from 78 inches to 90 inches. And we're probably going to be close to 100 by this time Sunday. And then the rinse cycle comes back. Little breeze. Sunrise. I think it's a good morning for the sunrise chair. We're not chasing powder. So we're going to wait for our friends. There are friends on non-powder days. Oh man, look at the parking lot. We got a blowing dust alert. There's our powder. We're beautiful sunrise. Look at the cloud texture again today. And technically it is a cold front, and usually just ahead of the cold fronts it's the warmest. Not exactly warm, but around the sun, I'm snow or rain soon. Collision of air masses imminent. It's covered in snow. What day is it? March 28th. Happy Global Snow Reporter Appreciation Day. Thank you, Andre, Matt, and Scott.
Who's that? Where's Andre?
Ha! Where's Andre? He's up there somewhere. 8:45. Clouds been thickening up. Here's your snow. And the spring growth is bursting forth. It's going to be bursting forth through another 6 inches of snow tonight, or 8. The daffodils, they can handle it. Looking a little weary though. And I have to now write the J blog before I hit the road. There's so much weather. My hobbies are all consuming. The worst part's getting to Boston at rush hour. Everyone's saying, how much snow here? I'd say about 7, pretty heavy snow. Jay probably closer to 10. How'd I do on that? It's noontime now at Stowe. And the secret to soft ears, rub them in snow. And if there's no snow, he'll use mud. But I'm happy that you're using snow today, Rex. Yeah, how good does that feel? Good boy. Yeah. T-Rex, what do you say? Okay, this car has been in the garage all week, and that is concrete dust. They never sealed the inside of their garage here. How sad is that? It's tough, man, working here. T-Rex is in the car. T-Rex jumped in the car. Rex, jump out of the car now. You get to ride in the front with me. Rex, this way. Up. No. He's like, what are we doing? Aren't we going home? All right, Rex, that's your seat right there. Good boy. In the car. All right, as we descend, this is the last we're going to see snow for some time. Hopefully when I come back, there's still some snow in the woods here. Going downhill, T-Rex. And up in the sky, interesting clouds, warm air advection clouds, some condensation trails, and what looks like the Stowe logo. Did you see it up there? Like the S or a ski turn track in the snow. It looks like the Stowe logo up there, at least part of it, the S part. Now we're just barely down 100 feet already. Snowpack's dwindled to pretty much nothing where the sun is. All right, bye-bye snow. Bye Stowe. Back for some more spring skiing. We're spring skiing last week, winter skiing this week. Keeps on changing. Makes it fun, doesn't it? Lenticular, wave cloud, UFO cloud, a couple of condensation trails. Great sky waves, snow-covered mountains off in the distance. Beautiful. Around this corner, I believe there are some incredible sky waves that keep getting better and better. Multiple lenticular clouds stacked up on one another. Some spicy rocks too. It's so pretty. Oops. Can't focus near here far at the same time. There it is. Thinking of you, Carl. I was going behind this truck. He was going 80, so I couldn't catch him. And the bridge that's been under reconstruction since I can't even remember last time. Connecticut River. Wave cloud beauty.
You're staying tuned this afternoon for fresh air. Fresh air was out.
Tiny bit of fresh snow here. Even some new ice with the old ice. Been a pretty cold week. Winter weather expected, say all the signs right now. I'm not talking about meteorological, I'm talking about highway. Lenticular waves are following us home. How significant of an ice storm are we getting? So now we're in the area that got the snow back on Monday. It's still here near Sunapee. Pretty cool, huh? This is going to be a zone where we have the freezing rain. Winter weather tomorrow. Plan ahead.
PM Sunday. Impacts isolated to scattered power outages are possible from snow loading and ice. Travel will become difficult. Additional details. Most of the snow will fall late tonight into Saturday. A wintry mix with ice accumulations is expected later Saturday into Sunday. If you must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency.
You hear that?
For the latest on road conditions in Vermont, visit https:newengland511.org and
Still going. Closing in on Concord. The lenticular is a cloud that doesn't move. The air goes up and then comes back down. It has to do with the geography. Orographic weather. Wind goes up a hill, causes the air to go up, cools, condenses, makes that stationary cloud, and the air returns. So it's a stable atmosphere in most respects, but with moisture and just enough instability to make those clouds. Is that off the cuff? There's the more macro scale sinking from the high pressure system building in southeastern Canada. That cool air is going to come in and undermine the warmth. And there's the warmer air coming over the top of the colder air. The synoptic scale weather now taking over. As we get to the Massachusetts border, close to 60 degrees. Should make it home in time for sunset. Yeah, sure I'll be home in time for sunset. Oh, it's so fun getting back into Boston. We're not even in Boston. We just came out of Tewksbury. I guess it's just an accident right here. T-Rex. It's Friday thing, you know, people make videos while they're traveling and stuff. It's not even on our side of the highway. Always could be worse. Could be headed north. Sure, it's not bad coming in from the north. We cleared that accident into Boston at 5 p.m. from the north, but once you're in, it takes forever to get out to the south. But what we have going for us is Chuck Nolan in Live at 5. T-Rex. Now we've got both lenticular and cirrus. Multi-layered clouds and instability. Good music on the radio. 60 degrees in Boston until the wind shifts and comes around, and it's 40 degrees in Boston at this time tomorrow. What fun. Got in the tunnel at 5:56. Never thought I'd get out the other end in time to hear the beginning of Live at 5.
Is Live at 5 with your host, Chuck Nolan.
And I think we've got some action coming up now.
On 100.7 WZ.
I look forward to this every day, no matter where I am.
Give you a round of applause. You made it through the work week.
Thank you. I skied all week.
Let's recreate. Welcome to the weekend. We're starting our double shot weekend with a double shot Live at 5. On this date, 1973, Led Zeppelin released their 5th studio album, Houses of the Holy. Let's do a double shot of live songs.
And I won't get a copyright. Are you talking, Chuck? Thanks for the shout out on the radio yesterday about all that snow. But I wasn't at Mount Snow, I was at Stowe. So this is where 7 lanes go into 6, go into 5, go into 4, go into 3, go into 2. Uh-oh, I think I gotta start moving over to the left now. Remarkable time all the way to the exit and deposit. And less than it took 2 Led Zeppelin songs live at 5. Buds are swelling in Quincy. Oh yeah. Twice as big as when we left a few days ago. Wow, the building's coming along nicely. Look at that roof. Copper roof, seriously? Wow. DQ is open. 62 degrees. T-Rex knows. Mommy's right up the road, so is Steve and Mitt. We're back to the Weymouth Big Dig. 62 degrees because wind is from the west. But when a high pressure system goes here north, the clockwise circulation brings the wind in from the east. And the ocean water is only 42. And that's gonna be our temperature all weekend long, T-Rex, 42. How excited are you? Very excited. He's doing paces. He's pacing in the front seat of the car. Yeah, Rex, we're home. Daffodils did not bloom. And there's Steve, there's our welcoming committee. Watch Steve jump when Rex comes in. Hi, Steve. Hi. Nice to see you. Oh. Steve, he's purring. He hasn't been out the door in 5 days. Just can't wait. Mitt made a tiny appearance, but didn't want to be on camera. And T-Rex is retired in a mommy's closet, I believe. Oh, there's a fly on the thermometer. We were in the 50s. What's the wind doing? It's still from the west. West is best. Clouds are filling in. My heart just sank when I saw the guidance coming in a lot warmer now for northern Vermont and not quite as wet. So I think I might have overdone my J blog. Take that 14 and cut it in half unless something else came in more positive this morning. We are in play-by-play mode. And there's the breeze. It's calling it a day. This is the lion roaring in to conclude March and open up April. And Cape Cod. I guess would be a few cumulus, some cirrus, from blue to white to gray. looks like we got about a 0.7. Good for the worm farm. Any worms in there, Steve? Okay. Talk to you tomorrow.